Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Cut This, Polish That. This is our 10th episode, so we have something very special lined up for you today.
We are giving one lucky park associate brand new countertops, and we're going to show you the digital process from slab to fab.
So we partnered with Cambria, and we hosted a raffle for Park Industries Associates to do a brand new countertop giveaway.
I know the raffle did pretty good, so what were the results?
So we raised over $1,000, and we're donating all that money to a local charity to feed children.
That sounds awesome, Brian. What material are we using today?
So today what we're going to be using is Cambria's Portrush polished quartz.
Okay, beautiful. Can you explain the process a little bit?
Yeah, so we're going to see everything from beginning to end. So we're going to start out with just the digital templating of the kitchen.
Okay.
And then we're going to go through all of our Park Industries machines that we do the digital process with.
Perfect. And what machines?
So you're going to see our SlabVision scanner, you're going to see our Javelin, you're going to see the Titan.
So when we're finished, are we going to be able to see the new countertops?
You sure will. So we're going to go out and you're going to see the entire transformation from old to new.
All right, Brian. I think I know why you invited me on this episode today. Tell me, am I the winner? Who's the lucky winner?
I know you're going to be really excited to hear this. It is one of our manufacturing supervisors, Brooks. Sorry, John.
Okay. All right.
But should we go tell him the news right now?
Yeah, let's.
All right, let's go. Hey, Brooks.
Hey, how's it going?
Question for you. Do you remember that kitchen countertop giveaway that you entered in that raffle a while back?
I do.
What would you say if I said that you won?
Tell me I won? Seriously?
You won.
No way.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
All right, so I want to ask you a question. So why did you enter the drawing? What didn't you like about your kitchen countertops?
First, it went to a good cause, and I really wanted to upgrade my laminate countertops, so.
Well, you made a really great choice. So what's going to happen next is we're going to get a hold of Cambria. They volunteered to come out and they're going to digitally template your kitchen countertops that you have existing. And then we're going to get that file so we can go continue the process and get your countertops made for you.
Sounds good.
I'm Casey Robinson with Cambria, and we're here to digitally template this kitchen here.
I'm excited because I've been trying to do a whole bunch of home improvement projects. The countertops wasn't on my radar. I've painted my cabinets, I've got new appliances and a new sink, and I think this will be a good addition.
We'll use a laser to capture all the points and create a digital template so it's ready for programming so you don't do anything manually.
You want to tell us what the value of a Park Industries SlabVision scanner is?
Of course. So the reason this is so important is we want to capture these digital images. And when you're working with material like this that has all these veins going through here, and even the really fine, light colored veins that's hard to pick up, this will capture that for you. We can bring this into T-Match. We can show a customer the 3D view of this before we even make one cut.
All right, Brian, I'll let you start scanning slabs then.
All right, I'm gonna go get to it.
All right, so right now we're in front of the SlabVision scanner. On the scanner itself, we have our built-in LED lights. That's gonna give us consistent lighting throughout our image here, so there's no shadows or anything that might be caused by the lighting environment in your shop. And that was quick. We got a nice, clear, crisp image. You can see all those tiny gray little lines. Once that scanner starts heading back towards the other side, Brian's gonna move his HMI screen over, make sure we have our color right, mark out any deficiencies in the slab. He will also enter the properties of the slab, give it an ID number, what color, what's the name of the slab, everything we need to know. Perfect, we got our beautiful image saved into inventory. We have all the credentials about the slab in there, our properties. Now we're going to print off a label so we can, when we put it back in the rack, we can identify it as the slab for Brooks's Kitchen. We're gonna pass it off to Brian so he could take those images and do a 3D rendering for us at the Park Studio.
We're here in the Park Studio, and we're gonna give you a brief look into the layout and programming of Brooks's new kitchen countertops. Okay, here's the layout for Brooks's kitchen countertops inside of T-Match. This was a pretty easy layout to do. Took me less than 5 minutes. Very easy to move parts around inside of this software. You can do this in either screen. So if I move this part here, I can get the veins to match up just perfect. Or if I'm over on this side adjusting on a slab, you can see my countertop moves on the left side as well. One thing to note in this layout is since we did a mill down of the full height backsplash to 2 cm, we were able to move this part the exact amount. So that way it's reflecting what the grain match is going to look like after you mill down that full height backsplash. So I don't run into any surprises. Okay, so transitioning into AlphaCam, I'll show you what the programs are going to look like for cutting on the Javelin. So the first one we're going to see, we have the sink piece with the mitered edge on the left side over here. So I put that miter on. We got the sink cutting out with the blade and jet combination, so there's no touch-up work to be done there. And then we also have the outlets that we're going to cut out in the backsplash, the full height backsplash. Those are all going to be complete too, no hand grinding on that. So that's going to be making for a seamless install. Okay, here's the second slab. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to auto toolpath this using the Javelin. We're going to go into auto toolpath, selecting all my parts, looks at all the geometry, puts all the blade and water jet cuts in here for me. I just have a couple things to do on this particular job. I'm going to set a low pressure pierce on these outlets so we don't have a blowout. And the other thing I'm going to do is just run some of these cuts out to the edge of the slab. This way I have less plunging in the stone, and it's also going to make it a lot easier for me to get these parts out and released. So as you can see, I had this program made in just seconds, so I am ready to send this file out to the Javelin. Okay, so I'm going to open up the Titan file that we're going to run on the Titan 4800, and this one I have toolpathed already. So we're going to run all the eased edge tooling around all the polished sides on this countertop. Inside of the sink, we have a small radius corner sink, so we're using our small 20 series tooling. You'll see this polish out really fast. And as I mentioned earlier, our backsplash, we're actually going to mill it down to a 2 cm material. So I use the facing command that we have available in AlphaCam. That's easily going to run the cycle to mill this down to the proper thickness. So one of the best parts about this job is the Titan 4800 table is so big, we could fit all of these parts for Brooks's kitchen inside this bed, plus we could have added a couple more. Okay, so there you have it. That was a super easy layout to do. Showed you how easy the programming was. We're ready to go to the Javelin and start cutting.
All right, Brian, so you finished the layout, Brooks approved it. What's the next step?
So I have table 1 loaded already.
Okay.
So we're gonna move the machine over to table 1. We're gonna get this program loaded, and then while this is cutting, I'm gonna go grab the slab number 2 and put that on table number 2 so that we can just keep continuing to cut.
That's efficient. All right, so after everything's done on the Javelin here, what's next?
So after all the parts are done on the Javelin, we're gonna take those parts, move them right onto the Titan 4800, get all the edges polished and finished so we have no touch-up work.
Okay, that's kind of cool to think about it, but Brooks helped make these machines, and now these machines are making us countertops.
I do like that. That's really great.
All right, well, let's get to it.
All right, I'm gonna scan this in.
All right, so Brian just hit start, and now the Javelin is off, cutting table 1. We're gonna see a lot. We're gonna see the blade miter, fast straight cuts with the blade, water jet finishing off our sinks, and of course, doing our outlets. We do have load control on here, and what load control does is it senses how many amps the arbor motor is pulling as it's cutting, and it can potentially go up to 200% of its program speed. So we can see some very fast speeds here, faster than 200 inches per minute on this quartz. The Javelin is very unique in its design where it's got that small footprint, 2-table layout like this. We can see Brian in the background loading that other slab while we're still cutting, so production is non-stop with this machine. Besides being a high production machine, the Javelin can do a lot of custom work. Blade miters, the water jet miters up to 58 degrees. It's got an awesome reach across the whole table. What you just seen there was the built-in height sensor on the machine, and looks like we're doing the edge for the waterfall. We're 10 minutes into this job. We're about halfway done. Pretty soon we're gonna see the blade stop and the water jet kick in to finish everything off here for us. I know Brooks is pretty excited for this kitchen here. Right now we're water jetting our outlets out. Looks like we have 3 of them on this full height splash. So the water jet, we're typically going about 20 inches a minute. It's going to a Titan router, like this project will afterwards. We can go faster than 20 inches a minute with the water jet. Right now we're just water jetting those inside corners of the sink. And we are just flying through this project. The sink is almost done. The outlet covers have been cut out. We should be getting close here, just finishing our last few water jet cuts. So that was table 1. Now, let's go ahead and go to table 2. There was barely any time between the 2 tables. Looks like the second slab here has 1, 2, 3, 4 parts on it. 2 of them just being your basic squares, and then we have our drop-down waterfall edge on here as well, so we'll see a miter cut. And then we have another full height splash with 2 outlets in it. Just finishing up table 2 here. It was about 18 minutes. Brooks's kitchen on the Javelin, 40 minutes. Have a very clean blade to jet transition there. The 2 tools line up perfectly on the Javelin. Just a beautiful looking kitchen. We brought over the piece from the second table here just to see how our vein matching was in T-match. You can see our waterfall edge and how those veins match up perfectly. Nice, crisp, clean miters as well. So we're very happy with the parts that came off the Javelin. Now we're gonna load them up on the Titan 4800. We have our parts loaded on the Titan 4800, the largest table in the industry. Everything was able to fit on there. We have our overhead laser projecting where the parts will go. All right, so Brian's ready to get this program started here. Got our parts loaded. Sheet scanned in to get the right job, and we are off. We're gonna see a lot of things on this job. We're gonna have tools, positions 2 and 3. I believe Brian programmed those at 350 inches a minute, so it's gonna cruise. Another tool change there. We're just doing those profile edge. That's that profile 2, position 2. That's the 350 inches a minute. Grab the next tool. We're at position 3. Position 3 is also going 350 inches a minute. We are putting an eased edge on there. All right, so between the Javelin taking 40 minutes to process those 2 slabs, and then now we're on the Titan, which took an hour to process this kitchen. We're looking at 1 hour and 40 minutes, let's say less than 2 hours to do this job. Full height splash, we're gonna mill that down from 3 cm all the way to 3/4 of an inch or 2 cm. You can see the gauge wheel there, that's cruising past milling those parts down. All right, so after we're done milling these 2 pieces of full height splash, we'll be ready to load these parts up, bring them to Brooks's house, and get them installed. So we're gonna take a quick look at these finished pieces off the Titan. All right, as expected, parts coming off the Titan look fantastic. Let's go ahead and bring these to Brooks's house. All right, so we're pulled up to Brooks's house here. We got Cambria who delivered the parts for us, and we're going to go inside Brooks's house, and Cambria's going to do their part here and install this beautiful kitchen for Brooks. All right, we can see them bringing in the first top. Looks like our sink run. Perfect fit. Looks good. This is going to be quite the countertop transformation for Brooks here. Oh, looks like we got our waterfall edge here. Looks good. We're gonna clear off the counters here and get some full height splash in. Let's see how those veins match up. All right, got some glue on the walls. Let's push that back. See how it fits. Our full height splash fits perfect there. We got it up against in its final resting position here. The outlets are already cut out from the Javelin. That was super simple, and this really makes install quick. When you have the right tools to fabricate, it makes everything else that follows super simple. And here we're slowly watching Brooks's countertop transformation really come to life. All right, so we've seen a lot of machines today. We've seen the Slab Vision scanner, we've seen the Javelin do its magic, we've seen the Titan router do the polishing. If you want to see any of these machines in person, give us a call. We'll fly you out here to Park Industries on our dime. All right, so we got the kitchen installed here. We have Brian out at Brooks's house, and he's going to reveal to Brooks his brand new countertops for the first time.
Brooks, come on in.
Wow, guys, this is awesome. Man, it looks nice.
So what are some of your very first thoughts after seeing your brand new countertops put in?
I think it really brightens up the room. I like the full height backsplash instead of the tile. This mitered edge is awesome.
I think this waterfall turned out great. So I think all in all, this really pulled together your kitchen and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to Cambria and Park Industries for creating this opportunity. It looks awesome. I really like it.
We just want to say thank you again to Cambria for sponsoring this episode and providing us with their beautiful Portrush slabs and all the other help that they gave us. Okay, thank you for watching today's episode of Cut This, Polish That. Remember, send in your ideas for what you want to see on a future episode, and we'll see you next time.
Do it again.
I that up. Hold on.
I think you were good.
Right.
And then you on that side?
Yeah.
Maybe a little further away. Okay, no, we're good. We got this one. Hey, Brian, I'm very excited about. What?